Hello everyone. This video is about my third ayahuasca ceremony that I had last night. As you can tell, I'm pretty exhausted. It was quite a challenging ceremony, and I didn't get much sleep at all. Well, I didn't sleep at all after the ceremony was over, but I managed to take a short nap before or shortly after breakfast, but yeah, lots of purging, lots of releasing. So I've been sleeping a lot being here, just feeling tired and just getting a lot of rest and trying to figure out, why I feel so tired. But I think that was my body, just needing that rest and preparing for that strength that I would need, because purging takes a lot of energy. And it's exhausting, especially because I'm dealing with so much sorrow that's coming up. And crying, and from that deep place within, it can bring up so much energy. And yeah, it can be very exhausting and challenging. So the medicine took a while to kick in this time. The last ceremony, I was the first one to get up and drink the medicine, and before the lights went out, I was already purging. But this ceremony last night took a while for, took a while for the medicine to kick in, and when it did, it wasn't very strong. It was just more, I was definitely feeling high, and my inner child started coming up again, and I was feeling very loved and very protected, and I thought, is this it? Like, is this all that I'm going to experience? This little girl that just wants to be nurtured and taken care of. And it was fine at first, and then the purging around the room was very intense, and one girl in particular was going through some extreme terror, and my heart just went out to her, because I thought, wow, things could be worse for me, but yeah, just so much love and sending her love and light. But that put me, a lot of just the energy and just taking in everything definitely put me in a bit of a weird mental state. I was stuck in my head, and my intention was to drink and to then go again for seconds. I already made up my mind to do this, and so the medicine was making me feel it. I was just feeling really tired, and all I wanted to do was lie down and sleep, but my ego was like, oh no, this is not a time for resting and sleeping. You gotta push through this, you gotta purge, you gotta do the work. And I was being very hard on myself. The ironic thing that happened, or that I realized, is that Ayahuasca was being very gentle with me, and she wanted to continue being gentle with me. She was telling me that I needed to rest, and it was okay to rest and lie down, but my ego was fighting it. I couldn't trust that, even though I knew it was her telling me this. And so I was really struggling with the decision, should I drink a second dosage or should I not? And so I made the decision to do it. And so I went up and I was crying, and I thought, I have to do this. And then one of the facilitators, she was just so helpful, and she said, maybe you just need to lie down and rest. Maybe you don't need to drink anymore. And I told her, well, not really. And I was still fighting it. I said, I've been sleeping so much, there's no excuse, and my ego was still trying to push through. And she said, I can tell you're the type of person who pushes yourself really hard, and maybe this is the time just to be gentle with yourself. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to drink a little bit. It was like literally just a top up, and I had my bucket with me because I knew the minute I would drink this, I would just purge. But it's almost like I needed that to come out, because I was feeling very stuck in my mind and stuck in this energy. So I drank a little bit of it, and it was just horrific, and just blah, and I puked at that point. I don't even know if it was real puke. It could have just been energy. I don't know. I didn't even look in my bucket, so I don't know what truly came out. But and then after that, she said to me, now that you've pushed yourself to do this, now you can give yourself a break, and you can be gentle with yourself and rest. And I thought, okay. So I went back to my my bed there in my area and laid down, and feeling very weak, very tired, purging so much. I went to the bathroom a few times and just shat like nobody's business. Like, so much was coming out, so much purging, so much burping, and like I feel like I've cleaned out like so much. And so the medicine lasted a very long time. It didn't fade. I was in the medicine even long after the ceremony was over. I was still deep in the medicine, and I couldn't sleep, and my mind was just, I just wouldn't stop, and it was very frustrating, very exhausting, very emotional. And then I did some more crying, and then at one point I was in the bathroom really letting go, and at one point everyone in the Maloka, I felt like almost everyone there started laughing. It was just a beautiful energy. And so I was sitting there in the toilet and smiling at everyone laughing in the Maloka. It was just such a beautiful sound. And hearing my friend Karen laugh for joy, because she hasn't been able to access that very easily, but she had that experience last night, so I was really happy for her. But yeah, I just felt like I felt very exhausted. I just wanted to be held, and I was feeling very lonely, and I was missing so many people that I love. And at one point I thought, oh, I can just use a hug from Karen. And then when we got up, and when she got up and sat beside me, and I was just crying, telling her how much I missed my ex, which is my friend now, and she hugged me, and I needed it. So yeah, just so incredibly grateful for this experience. As hard as it is, like, this is serious, intensive work. I've been through intensive before through my psychotherapy program. It was a 4-day thing, but that was like peanuts compared to this. This is serious work, very, very much about perseverance and commitment. And it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of strength and courage. And I'm just really grateful for the sitting arrangement, because the maestros and the maestros sat on one side facing one side, while the maestras faced the other side, which was my side. So because I really needed to connect to the divine feminine energy, I was just so grateful that my seating arrangement throughout this whole trip is sitting in front of the maestras. They are so graceful and so loving and so amazing. And yeah, like I said, it just hasn't been anything revelatory. It's just been simple lessons of self-love and gentleness and taking care of that inner child. And it was all about my inner child. And just again, letting go of judgment and letting go of being hard on myself. And I remember one pattern that I've recognized is that when I make a decision, because everything's a choice, right? Everything's a choice. And when you make a decision to do something, I really learned that you got to just love your decision no matter how much challenge it brings up. Like last night when I took that second dosage, I was so hard on myself, thinking, why did I go there? Why did I push myself? I shouldn't have done that. And I was having a hard time just accepting the fact that I made that decision. And so I was sharing that with some friends this morning, and that's the whole lesson, is just loving your choices. Like, just love the decisions you make no matter what comes up. Just see it all as a learning experience. So that was a big lesson for me that I'm still trying to process. I have less regret now than I did at that time. But again, it all happened for a great reason, and I was just so glad I received that permission from that facilitator, Debbie, that I could rest. It's like I needed to hear that outside of me, even though I knew that was the best. My ego was just fighting it. And it was just funny because, yeah, like, ayahuasca is being so gentle, and I never expected this medicine to be so gentle. It's the ego that's kicking my ass, or that kicked my ass yesterday. Because if I just listened to her and didn't fight it, it wouldn't have been as challenging. But then again, I can't really say for sure because I was really struggling in the moment, just being in the space that I was in. It just seemed so chaotic and loud, and I just wanted it all to stop, and I just wanted the silence to come forth so I could just rest. And by the time it was over and the silence did come up, I still couldn't get that rest because my mind was going a million miles a minute. So just had to embrace that. And I don't know, I was thinking, like the way I was feeling earlier, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to participate tonight's ceremony because we got yesterday was day 3, and we got ceremony 4 tonight and ceremony 5 tomorrow before we get a break, so 2 more. So I was thinking maybe to just kind of sit out on it and still be there but not drink the medicine. But now I'm thinking, I think I can manage. I think I can drink the medicine, but I may just take a very small dosage and just nurture that inner child that just wants to be loved and taken care of. That's all that this trip is about for me. And yes, there's big questions I have that have not been answered, but I'm embracing that sometimes I'm not really supposed to know what the answer is until that time comes. So just embracing that whatever answers I'm seeking will come forth in some way. Maybe not through this trip, maybe later on, but I am receiving so much clarity around just being gentle and graceful through these tough experiences. So I missed my flower bath today because I was resting, and had a great massage today and yesterday, because yesterday I got a really good stomach massage which helped things move along yesterday, and today it was just, I felt like I was all clear, but there was a lot of knots in my stomach, which they were just so gentle, and those maestros are so graceful and so loving, and the food here again is delicious, being fed really well, and the people here are incredible. I'm really going to miss this place and the people here once that time comes, but I'm not going to think about that right now because I still got plenty of time. The jungle's just beautiful. And the sounds of the crickets in the jungle and all the animals, insects. Someone's playing lovely guitar. She's really talented. I don't know what else to say. Except that sometimes the most subtle lessons are the most profound, and I know I'm already changed in a big way, but it's still very subtle. And just so much gratitude again for this magical place, for these experiences. I'm still dealing with a lot of processing, regrets, but not only regret, but guilt and shame over, my behaviors. Sometimes I let my pain and my sadness get the best of me, and I act in ways that I don't like. And just forgiving, trying again. could be a lot of changes I would be making by the time I get home. Nurturing myself more, taking care of myself, eating, and just being more flexible, because I realized that I could be very rigid with decisions I make. Like, for example, like last night I said, oh no, I decided I'm going to take a second dosage, and I was just like so rigid in that decision. And I'm being shown that I need to not be so rigid, not just in my decisions, but my predisposition. My friend said today, she said, wow, your energy's shifted. You're not as rigid. You're soft. You're light. Because I do carry this rigid energy sometimes, even in my demeanor. But not only did I learn about loving your decisions, loving your choices, no matter how much stress or pain that it brings you, but also not being so rigid in those decisions. And then, I was so attached to, the whole 7 ayahuasca ceremonies, because it's my 7th year numerology. I'm in a year 7, essence 7, and the number 7 has been very prominent. And yesterday was July 7th, which was the 3rd ceremony, and I'm being told, so what? So what if you only have 6 ceremonies instead? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be so rigid and push yourself and compare yourself to how much other people are drinking, because I can be very competitive that way sometimes. Not even just competitive, but it's like, hey, if this person can do it, so can I. But it's not always the case. And sometimes more isn't always better. And that's what I'm really recognizing with this medicine. And just to surrender to it versus fighting it. Because if I just surrendered to it and not been so attached to drinking more, I probably could have embraced the experience in a better way. But it is what it is. I've learned a lot. And just taking as much rest as I can. Not sure if I'll be able to nap anymore. I'm going to try to, or just lay down some more and prepare for tonight's ceremony. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing my next video with you soon. God bless. Take care. Bye.